There's so much happening in the world right now, and it could feel like too much sometimes, but there's a reason and a meaning behind all the shifts and changes that you're experiencing. And the next few months are going to be especially transformational. So I've brought in someone who I've been following for years. I adore her. She's got a course called WTF USA. And since there's so much, especially happening in the United States right now, no matter where you live in the world, there's a lot happening here and in the world. And she is going to explain it for us in a way that you can use to feel better about things that are happening and that are empower you to make the most of this time. Welcome, Clarissa Dolphin. Yay!
Thank you so much for having me, Carrie. It's so awesome to connect with you and everybody to talk about all the crazy shifts we're experiencing.
You said the word shifts, but I thought you said another word, which would also be appropriate. And I know everybody's going to ask me, so is Dolphin your real last name?
It is. It's a family name. It is a freedom name.
Ooh.
It is my great grandfather's choice of name for his kin. He was the son of an enslaved woman and a plantation owner.
Mhm.
And so he had like this whole thing where he looked exactly like his dad, and he and his dad would argue on the plantation about inheritance, and his dad refused to give him an inheritance, and he was like, screw you, I'm gonna create a whole nother family name. And it's like crazy
Wow.
on so many levels because, obviously that's like a death sentence on a plantation at the time, to argue like that. But it's also just an amazing declaration. So yeah, that it's a real name.
That's amazing. And talking about that, just such an incredibly dark, dark, dark time in American history. And so we're going through another transformation now, and it can feel like that right before the breakthrough, like, is this madness ever going to end? Can we ever see a light at the end of this? And here you are, beautiful Clarissa Dolphin, carrying that legacy, bringing amazing joy into the world. And so it's incredible how much can change for the better, even when, after so much darkness, right?
Yeah, so I think that's the beautiful part of the human condition and the human story is that, unfortunately, our lives are enmeshed with pain. Like it's just part of living.
Mhm.
But there's always like something like really beautiful at the end of it.
Mhm.
And we're all reflections of the potential. Like we got this ultimately, like seriously, honoring all the pain and all. There's still
Mhm.
hope always.
And some of the darkness, a lot of the darkness that we're experiencing right now is a denial of this history we've had, a denial of human rights, a denial, and it feels like, have we not advanced as humans? And I'm feeling like, and the astrology would indicate that this is a backlash against the progress that is inevitable. How do you feel about that? What are your feelings about that?
I completely agree with you, Carrie. And just bringing it back to astrology, the
Mhm.
United States Sivily chart is a Sagittarius rising. So it's enmeshed to be in two minds. And, Sagittarius is viewed as adventurous, which it totally is, but it's also like really, really hell bent on its beliefs. And so it in the American context, it creates fundamentalism
Mhm.
and fundamentalist beliefs, whether it's religious or white people are better or whatever. Like people will die for their fundamentalist beliefs, what they think is true. And so, yeah, like it's almost, it's very interesting because also to your point, it feels like America has always existed as a multi America. It's never like, there's this like mainstream America, and then there are all these little, segments of reality. So, yeah, how do we address the denialism when it is in a chart?
Can you explain what a Sibley chart is and why America has its own birth chart?
Sure, absolutely. So, in mundane astrology, which is the astrology of things like nations, cities, states, and all that kind of stuff, the charts are drawn up by the closest time we have when things are declared in writing in legislation. And so the US Constitution, there are various ideas of when it was exactly signed.
Mhm.
This guy, Ebenezer Sibley,
Okay.
he corrected the chart to be at like 5:10 p.m. in Philadelphia when the Constitution was signed. It's one of many. There are all kinds of different beliefs about when the United States was actually born. It's the one that I choose because it works, right? It's the most effective with forecasting, it's the most aligned. But, there are many, mundane astrology is so hard for many reasons, but one is because like there are so many ways to determine when something is born, when a business is born, when a blah 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 is born.
Mhm.
It's even less accurate than a human getting born.
Yeah, because there's like all the things that go into a nation being created. However, the and mundane is represents the world, not like just like boring, right? Mundane is the world and practical things. And the chart that most astrologers who do this country in the United States typically use the Sibley chart, as far as I'm concerned, the ones that I follow. And so America's sun sign is Cancer, right? What's America's
Yeah.
moon sign then?
America has an Aquarius moon.
Oh, that's interesting because Pluto is in Aquarius now.
Yes, and Jupiter is going to trigger that access when it ingresses in Leo.
Can you talk to people who don't know astrology? Do you
Absolutely.
know?
Ingress, yeah. Ingress means moving, like moving into the next sign,
Yeah,
the
it sounds
transit.
fancy, but it's just it goes into that sign. Like Jupiter's moving into Leo. And then Leo is opposing Aquarius. So then that means that Jupiter is going to be opposing the moon, right?
Eventually, yeah, it's going to be opposing the moon next year in 2027. And to add even more astrology on it, we have the lunar node transit, lunar node access is also going to be in Aquarius and Leo.
And the moon represents in a country, what does the moon represent?
The people,
Okay,
all the citizens.
all the citizens. So we have, which is interesting because the United States does feel like it has an Aquarius moon and a Sagittarius rising, like the optimism, the religion, the idealism, the sense that like we're all about freedom, like it's like that's so how America presents itself. We don't really, there's a debate about how that feels, but that at least is what it presents as and what it thinks itself as. But the moon, the people, Aquarius, also very diverse and individuality, right?
Absolutely. And that's part of the beauty, I think, of the United States is that Aquarian all over the place diversity. I love that. I love that about the US. It's my favorite thing. I love being in Los Angeles, California from here. You're from New York. I love all that melting pot stuff. That's my favorite part.
Mine too, because I grew up in New York and I didn't get exposed to as much nature as I like now here in Oregon, or as my mom says, Oregon. But 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 the diversity was incredible.
Mhm.
It was so
Yeah.
rich. Yeah. And so was America, where did Aquarius fit into America's chart then? In terms of, so we have the moon there. What else? What else is, how is this Aquarius playing out in America's chart here?
So we also have the lunar south node in Aquarius in the US natal Sibley chart. So it's going to be moon lunar south node. And this is really significant for our year this year
Yeah.
because the transits are triggering them, right? And so we're having a lunar node return for the United States that triggers the moon. Jupiter and Pluto are there. And so Jupiter, Pluto combined is compulsive expansion. So what it does is it just keeps growing. Like it's definitely not like a hidden energy. And so basically this is like a perfect cocktail for, I would say, social revolution.
Mhm.
100%. Like it's imminent. Like there's something, in my opinion, there is some kind of malaise, it feels like culturally, Americans, where we're all comfortable or something. I don't know what it is, but when we get all of these new transits coming up, like Jupiter and the lunar nodes at the end of July, um, it's just gonna the people start rising, the revolution starts. Period, end story. There's no doubt about it.
So we had Pluto and Aquarius in our, no, Pluto and Capricorn. That's why we just had our Pluto returns. And it really did feel like Pluto is the lord of the underworld. And it really did feel like that Pluto return happened and we were dragged into hell, right? We were dragged into the underworld. But but so when Pluto in Aquarius came, can you explain what Pluto is, what Aquarius is, what that combination is like, and then what how that hits our chart? And then we'll talk about the nodes. We got some things to discuss here. We'll have to have you on again to explain more. There's a lot.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I'm drenched in Pluto sweat just thinking about it. It's like it's a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Um, when I'm so curious, your thoughts too, Carrie. Pluto is, if you're just like at the energy of the planet, it's compulsion. The way that it comes out in transits and collective experiences and things like that. Pluto brings everything under the surface up.
Hmm.
So it just bring like nothing is hidden. I think that it has a high intensity energy. It is not chill. Like it's like, oh my god, like it's like facing the devil, if you will. Not, it doesn't necessarily have to be the devil, but it's like it's facing, oh, it's facing
Everything.
everything, right? There's nothing concealed. It's the ultimate truth. And it's so it feels intense. And then you have like a moon Pluto combination with the United States chart when it gets there, because the moon in the US chart is at 27 degrees Aquarius. So it is a 16-year transit that started last year with Pluto in Aquarius. Anyway, long story short, when it gets to the moon, I think that it is likely to be actually healing.
Hmm.
I think that we're going to, not be able to be robots and conceal our emotions anymore. But just in general, like where it is too in the chart, it's in the second house, it's in the third house. So it's how we value each other, how we communicate with each other. The AI explosion, I marvel at the fact that so many people marketing AI are like, screw your job. Talk to AI and blah, blah, blah. It's like, why is this like a selling point to lay off like 85% of the workforce, for these things that just eat all of our
Yeah.
energy and cause
Yeah.
psychosis and stuff like that. And so when Pluto gets to the natal node, it's gonna piss people off because in the lunar nodes, particularly in the Aquarius, um Leo axis, that is the axis. Aquarius is the axis of social revolution, and the lunar south node, according to my research, is people. Like, it's not destiny or like your past life. It is literally all of our connections and the people that like we suck in and stuff. And so anyway, I just feel that there's going to be economy stuff. There's going to be more tech stuff, but people are pissed and actively
Yeah.
revolting. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
What do you
Well,
think?
the Pluto, thank you for asking. And I thank you for sharing too. I love your candor. The Bronx part of me is just like when you're like, people are pissed. I'm just like, yeah, say it like it is. You know what I mean? Like, I just love your like candor about everything. It's awesome. So, I okay, so I love the nodes of the moon. I work a lot with the nodes of the moon because um I do a lot of evolutionary astrology and I'm also past life oriented and stuff like that. So we're going to have this Pluto, we have Pluto in Aquarius, which also brings the shadow. It brought us AI, but it's bringing the shadow of AI because no one replaces humans. Like AI could do things okay, it can never do anything better than us. It like lacks a lot of things. It lacks soul and drive. There's something beautiful that comes out of human struggle, like we were talking about. Like that's what creates soulful things. And so that's what the struggle is about, right? It's about the joy. But the revolution, and like our moon is like, no, we have the power. And so we have the power to change things when we recognize that we are not alone. And I love that you were saying that it's in the third house, which is about community, because it is us connecting and working with our community and creating communities where this revolution is going to happen. It can take a lot of forms. It can take like strikes and protests and money boycotting. Like me personally, I am spending my money in my community. If there's something that I see that I'm looking for, like, oh, where in my neighborhood is somebody making this? Right? If I want to buy this, I'm going to go straight to the company. I'm not going to buy it like even where it may be a few dollars cheaper, because I want to support community, and we're all going to be supporting community, and that is the revolution, right? So can you explain again, so what the nodes of the moon are in your sense of things?
Yes, absolutely. The nodes of the moon are points. They're not planets. And they are points where the pathway of the sun, the pathway of the moon, and the pathway of the earth collide, and they cause
Hmm.
eclipses, which happen every 6 months. And eclipses happen when the sun, moon, and earth
It's
are all
amazing.
aligned, which is, to me, I know
It
it's
blows
like
my
it
mind.
blows my mind. Like, it's phenomenal.
We have an alignment coming up in July that's like also kind of phenomenal,
Mhm.
like once in history type of things. That's also like an alignment that's unprecedented. An eclipse is an alignment, but it doesn't mean easy, does it? It's like when everything's lined up, eclipses
No.
can bring like transformation, but usually like a big karmic fate or destiny type of thing, right?
100%. It's with every eclipse is a huge life transformation. And from my perspective, because it's 300% of a normal new or full moon, right? Like we have all these resonances. Lunar nodes are the points where the orbital planes of the sun, moon, and earth
Mm.
collide. There are 2 points. There's one point here and
Mhm.
one point there. And then there are the planets themselves. So when an eclipse happens and they're all aligned on the points, it's a 9 planet
Wow.
resonance. And so no normal new and full moon, it's only a 2 planet resonance because it's just the sun and the moon. It doesn't involve the earth all the time. The sun is your body. The sun is us in the flesh, animate beings. The moon is all of our history, but they're both they can be interchangeable. It's all about light. The luminaries light life. And then, of course, there's Earth, which is like its own thing, like stage of life. Anyway, long story short, yeah, they're hardcore energies. Insomnia is part of an eclipse. Being too sleepy, your body gets jacked up. I don't care what sign you are. And that's why our ancestors worshiped eclipses like forever, thousands of years, because they really do have, like, I personally believe that planets have energy. Like, it's physics, man. It's some like wavelengths. If we've got 9 planets instead of 1 or 2 active at a time, like, we're all going to be feeling it. So, yeah, they're huge.
So there's this sense of like our luminaries, which are the sun and the moon, there's a sense of darkness, right? Like something gets shut off. It's like when your computer's malfunctioning and they're like, did you try turning it off and then on again? So it's just like you're going in life, even more than a retrograde. And then July is a retrograde, but like you're going, and then it's like something turns off. Like what's normal, what is expected is just not there anymore. Like you're in darkness. And then it's like finding your way back into light. And then everything is changed. Everything is rearranged after that. And it's a reset. And the south node of the eclipses and the north node of the eclipses represent different things in our life. So, what is the south node and what is the north node then?
I have researched the nodes
Okay.
extensively. And so, according to my research, the North Node is, first of all, I just want to say the lunar node axis is completely unstoppable, and what I mean by that, if you are an astrologer and interpreting astrology charts, we all know that there are like planetary interactions with the lunar nodes. The energy just keeps on moving. Ain't nothing gonna stop it, inside or out. Like, think about like the south node is sucking
Mhm.
people in. It's always a community point. So it's like destined people, if you will. And then the north node is your unstoppable presence carving out reality. So it's like more the individual. Um, and yeah, so anyway, I just like the funnel of the nodes, I think is really interesting. I like to think about the north node, a geyser shooting out. You try to sit on a geyser, you're about to get blown up into the air, like, we're riding on the geyser. And then the south node is like the magnet, like, oh, like you get
Yeah.
totally sucked
Hmm.
in. So
What an
yeah.
interesting way of explaining it. And so visceral. I love it. So, with our now, we have in our Sibley chart in the United States, the south node you're saying is in Aquarius, and the north node, then the polar opposite would be in Leo. So what's happening with that? And that's all changing now too, right? The nodes are changing. So what's happening with that? Our nodes are changing this year, and it's you're saying we're going to have a nodal return. And when something returns, what happens? It's like an echo, right? Of there's some kind of reckoning.
certainly a reckoning. It awakens, it reawakens the energy and the point, or the planet. It like resuscitates it and puts it on the scene. It's the main event, it's the main thing. And the lunar nodes go into it will be a an Aquarius lunar north node via transit, and that happens July 26th. So that's already it's
Wow.
actually going to be already in orbit of the United States natal moon, because the natal moon's at 27. So we're
Whoa.
already coming in with the nodes on the
Whoa. That's
moon.
within a degree then.
Yeah, it's just a handful of degrees just right from the outset. Ooh, yeah, it's tripping me out. I'm like, oh my God. And I want to give you the date when the lunar nodes actually return in the United States, where it triggers the same points, but they're opposite. I don't want to be too confusing. The lunar south node in the US chart is at 6 degrees 36 Aquarius. And so that means the lunar north node in the US natal chart is at 6 degrees
Mhm.
36 Leo. Like they're opposite, but it doesn't
Mhm,
matter
mhm.
because
So
they
it's not
trigger the
returning
same
to the
thing.
exact place where it was when the United States started. It is returning to the exact opposite place of where the United States Sibley chart is. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I think I want to formally correct myself for the record. It is a
Mhm.
lunar node opposition, but it's kind of a mind S because it triggers the same,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
lunar nodes are on the same axis.
yeah.
It's the
Well, an
same degrees,
opposition
y'all,
brings up a
like,
lot of
yeah.
tension, right? Like it's like something's gonna happen, something, and
Yeah.
I feel like everyone in the world right now, not everybody, there's some people that are just like don't even know anything's going on. But I feel like, and especially I can speak for like myself and people here, it's like things feel terrible in a lot of ways. And yet I do feel like something's going to happen that is going to change everything. And the nodes wake people, and the Pluto in Aquarius right on our moon. People want to know the truth. And that is part of what's going to change things.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And then there's also a very clear and key wealth disparity where what 1% owns 99% of the wealth. I think also the truth coming out with Pluto and the lunar nodes, the Pluto and Aquarius stuff, is just seeing it so plain.
So that's one of the things that I'm feeling like will be a breakthrough, even when there's so much of this. It's just so hard when you're in the middle of the Pluto stuff. Well, in the beginning of this Pluto and Aquarius, where you're seeing like just the blatant horribleness of what is happening, it's painful. But this other thing that I'm sort of looking forward to is okay. So we have Jupiter going into Leo, and Jupiter is like a benevolent ruler, and Leo is like a benevolent ruler. And so thankfully, like we're gonna have some like more joy. Like Jupiter and Leo brings a lot of joy. But with our South Node going into Leo and our North Node going into Aquarius, which is for the people, and the South Node, which is like very like if you have been not doing things well as a leader and for the people, that is going to be something you cannot avoid. So I'm seeing like when Jupiter goes into Leo, it gives everybody this sense like, oh, okay, I can do anything, which is great for us, right? For the people that have not believed in themselves before. But for the people who are not benevolent leaders, who feel they can do anything, that South Node's going to come along at the end of July. And that to me feels like the fall of kings. And I'm here for it.
Me too. I'm waiting for it. And yeah, no, I totally agree. If I may, I this is in my e course, Lunar Nodes Unstoppable Living. And this is like I looked through like 30,000 charts, or I didn't do it every single chart, but like the data collection to figure out what this means. So Aquarius, lunar north node, Leo south node. It is the advocate, revolutionary. This is reality upgrading force, fighting for collective rights, drawing in diversity and freedom of being. Characteristics, collective rights, community advocacy, corporeal danger, tapestry of stuff, multicultural tapestry, diversity, freedom of being, eccentricity,
Mhm.
what the F, like strange stuff, investigations, discoveries, faith, belief, and disillusionment. And in my opinion, with astrology, it is kind of like a tally. So if you have all this stuff in one zone, like in Aquarius, you've got Jupiter, Pluto, and you've got the nodes there, and it's hitting all this stuff in the US chart, the lunar south node and the moon in the US chart. That means that the advocate has more power than the other kind of more enemies, if you will, of the people. So to me, like the gangster part of the United States is going to
Mm.
be Mars, and it's also going to be the sun. Um, because the cancers are depicted as like these sweet, crabby, like mother love goober things, which they can be. I think that like there's a sweetness about Cancer. Like I love Cancer, but Cancer can also be very violent and in
Interesting.
gangs. Like it's a yeah, it's like a gangster. It's a straight up gang. It
Oh,
will kill
wow.
for its clan. Like it's like very defensive. Why this is such a militaristic country is because it's a Cancer
Wow.
country.
So Cancer is very protective, right? And very homeland oriented, right? Which is why I think we have some of this craziness right now. I really believe in Pluto and Aquarius. Like Pluto is so hard, but I love what it's going to bring us.
Me too, ultimately. And if we think it's not just Pluto and Aquarius anymore, it's also Jupiter and Leo too this year, and the lunar north node in Aquarius. And so we have Pluto, which is already intense by itself. Then we
Mhm.
have Jupiter, which brings it out. Jupiter just blows things up like a balloon.
Mhm.
It expands, so it makes it more intense. And that's
Wow.
not even just the USA chart, to your point, it's the whole chart. And then we're
Yeah.
dealing with the all the, sexism, the racism, and the sexual assault as embedded in the institution.
Yes, that's some of the stuff that's coming out. And so you have to feel to heal, but the truth will set you free, right? That's where we are. And it's not an easy process. But what is at the end of this then? And also there's more, right? There's Uranus. Uranus is a big player in all this, right? Oh, and then we have this Mars Uranus thing. I want to talk about the Mars Uranus thing coming up. What do you want to talk about next? We have so much to choose from. We'll have to have you back. Like I'm like, oh, okay. We'll have to have you back talk about the rest of it. Yeah, where do you want to focus on next? There's so much.
Yeah, there is so much. So I want to talk about when the lunar nodes collide via transit in the sky with the lunar nodes in the US chart. That date's going to be Halloween, October 31st, 2027. Also on that date, Pluto is going to be conjunct that. And then we're also coming off the heels of the United States Uranus return, and returns in astrology are when the transit planet hits the same degree and sign as the natal or mundane planet in question. So it starts a whole nother, it like gets rebirth, and Uranus takes like hundreds of years to do its thing, to do a full return out of all the 12 zodiac signs. Anyway, long story short, why this connects to July 4th and the Mars Uranus conjunction is Mars Uranus is violence. Mars Uranus has a temper, it explodes. It is in the United States chart, it is in the sixth house when this Mars Uranus conjunction happens on July 4th. Sixth house is the house of police and military and people employed by the government. It's also health and disease and stuff like that. But in the US Sibley chart, it is ruled by the seventh house, which is open conflict. And so let's talk about this in a different way, right? So it's like not new to be in a war, which is awful. And so part of what is getting erupted right now, it's not just war, like open conflict the way that we're used to, unfortunately, in American society and our impact on other countries in the world. Because it's in Gemini too, when you have dualistic signs like Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, those signs mean more than one. And so it's all these different opinions erupting at once to create change. But in a Mars Uranus signature, Mars Uranus is physical, it sweats. It's like out here, it's moving, it's punching. It's not like just a world of ideas or like some kind of philosophical debate. Everywhere, like people are just like unsettled, right? We're not following protocol. All these different places not aligning and butting heads,
Yeah.
leading to transformation and change ultimately, but it ain't a cakewalk.
No. So when we have Mars connecting Uranus, it happens to be on July 4th. In America, obviously, that's a big day, but this is global. Those planets are connecting for everyone all over the world, right?
Right.
So it's an inflection point.
Absolutely. For the entire world. And, once again, I feel we are all fighting the same fight, right? Like we are in the climate crisis. Nobody has the money. 1% of the world has the money. And what are they doing with it?
And you're saying October 31st, which is Scorpio season, and Pluto is ruling Scorpio. So what's happening? We have this inflection point happening July 4th, right?
Yes.
And then we also have this kind of culmination happening October 31st.
Of 2027, that's when the transit lunar north node conjuncts the US lunar south node.
So will that be like a culmination of things? So there's this inflection point happening on July 4th. And then what can that bring? And what's that time in between this year and change?
Well, I think that it's going to be lively, to say the least, the very least.
What will happen as a result of that, do you think? Like what is the promise of like the Uranus and the nodes there? That connection. What is the promise of that?
The promise is the removal of whatever American cultural malaise that we're in, where we're so comfortable and we don't do
Mm.
anything and think. So the promise is like, okay, like back to the tally thing when we were talking earlier, like if according to my research, the Aquarius North Node and Leo South Node is the advocate, revolutionary. This is really upgrading force, fighting for collective rights, drawing in diversity and freedom of being. That means that the tables turn for that we have the most energy. Do you
Mhm.
see what I mean? Like when you were talking about Fall of Kings, yeah, like exactly, because now it's like out of, the astrology wasn't really favorable for social
Mhm.
revolutions, not just in an American context, but the whole world context, like it is when we have all this Aquarius and Leo and North Node Pluto Jupiter action. Like that's when we take the power back. And when we were talking about the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, imagine what it would have been like to be an enslaved person in Haiti and be like, I'm so sick of being mistreated to this degree. If it were gonna revolt, like it gets really bad before you revolt. but then you revolt and you
Yeah.
win, you know?
What
And
seems
then there's,
impossible too. It would seem impossible at the
right.
time. But then when you
Thank you.
join together, like what's happening in Albania now is just like mind blowing. Like
Thank
yeah,
you.
like it's like the whole country. So
Yeah.
it's like you join together, and it's not this helpless powerlessness that we're feeling now, which it can feel like that. It's like, oh my gosh, how do you go against like all of this money, all of this power? But this is what power to the people means, and perhaps this is where we're headed. Power to the people.
100% power to the people. So yeah, exactly. Power to the
Yeah.
people.
So probably from July 4th on, things will accelerate and reach a breaking point and a culmination around. I'm so curious what's going to happen October 31st. My goodness, like wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing to the acceleration is it doesn't slow down. It does just accelerate. Like it keeps picking
Mhm.
up, you know, kind of in pace and effectiveness too. So that's something to remember with us, the populace, power to the people. It picks up in effectiveness as well because there's this like thing of efficacy too, right? Like I'm curious your thoughts, Carrie.
We all, well, most of people, we all just want love, like peace, healthcare. We want good things for ourselves and our loved ones. And I think that is what we all want. And I think that is going to be the revolution, is that we want this and we're tired of the wars. And so I feel like maybe that's going to be the breaking point, the inflection point that happens in July. Does that, you're nodding, so maybe. And again, money. I want everyone to like really focus on where you put your money. Like, do you want to keep, look at the companies and look at, because that is where a lot of people have a lot of power, so much more than you realize, and boycotts and community investment. That's where that can be a revolution in and of itself. Like we're like, we don't want companies anymore. We don't want big news corporations. We just want everything kind of back to nature and community. So, anyway, I want to ask you something based on what we've talking about, because we can talk. We'll have to have you on again because there's so much to talk about, so much more to talk about. Given that we have this major transformation coming up and acceleration, I always like to leave people with a magic lesson, like something that they can focus on, that can bring the divine in a way that's very tangible and actionable and simple and practical. So, what magic lesson would you like to leave people with during this incredible time of transformation?
Simple prayer, use your
Mm.
voice. Call on your guides and helping spirits at any time. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It's literally you can whisper it, say it out loud, say it in your head, call it in, you know, 2 seconds and feel the magic. You know, you get affirmation and confirmation, open the zone and see what comes
Yeah,
in.
I feel like most people, they're like, where are my guides? But it's like, literally talk to them, right? That was just, so
Yeah.
just talk to them and then see what happens. I love it, because that is a power, using your voice, not just in the world, but like in your own spiritual connection.
Yeah, I think the voice is one of the biggest gifts and tools for spirituality that humans have been given. It's really powerful. I think it's underrated sometimes.
So beautiful and so simple, so actionable. I love the magic lesson. So, Clarissa Dolphin, so how do people find you, and what do you offer them personally?
You can find me at Clarissa Dolphin Explains It All.com. I'm Clarissa with 2 S's and dolphin like the animal. I offer one-on-one sessions. I offer courses on harmonic astrology and the lunar nodes. And I also offer a very intensive shamanic mentorship. So I'm definitely an astrologer, super techie, all that stuff, but I'm also like heavily spiritual and I walk with spirits. And, I'm Reiki certified and I do like really hardcore healings as well. So
Yeah.
hardcore in the best way. We're hardcore healing up in here. So yeah, find me online. I would love to connect and thank you so much for having me again, Carrie. Such a pleasure to be with you.
Yes, and Clarissa Dolphin explains it all. And you are a healer at heart, I believe. Even though you're a master at astrology, I feel like your heart is in the healing, and that's part of how you use astrology to help heal the collective.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a tool for healing. I've seen it being used for evil too, but yeah, it's let's
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 heal the
heal the
collective. We need
collective.
it. Well, thank you so much. You are a joy and a pleasure, just like your name, Dolphin. So much. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye for now.